see everybody. It's awesome. All right, guys. Well, Tim, I'll let you manage the people coming in here, and yeah, I'm gonna try to go through. I tried to make, on my never-ending list of things to do. My tiny little thing that I have to do is rebuild the Scriber directions, which is like, you know, 10 years of videos and stuff. So it's no small feat. But anyway, I'm working on just focusing on library management because I think library management is I don't know. It came up. We had a scriber that just wasn't sure how to like save a comment to a library or to their template. Hey Tim, if you can help manage mics too, would be awesome. Just if they get away.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm going to try to go through this whole list. So I'm going to try to, my goal here is to unpack narrative library management, like soup to nuts, the whole thing. So my goal is to start with like the most basic primitive moves. So if you're new to Scribeware, like this will be good, just like intro stuff. And I'm going to see if I can like carry it all the way through to like the most 400 level, you know, um, graduate level scribeware stuff on library management. So does that sound good to everybody? I mean, I think this would be a
Yeah.
helpful thing to go over, and we'll see if we can just do it on a Zoom. Cool. So I'm in scribeware. I'm in a report that I opened that is basically my template that I use every day. So we'll just fiddle with this job. A point of reference is, I just started this job before the meeting, and as long as I don't hit save template, I can do all kinds of wild things to this template, and I'm not messing with my template. We could do all kinds of horrible things to this template, and if I could hit save template, and I could rename it, I could call it Frankenstein template or something, and then my original template would still be preserved. Does that make sense? So how I got this was save template here. So if you're working on a template and you want to save something, you hit save template. And you always have an opportunity to rename a template if you want to. So in this case, my objective is to demonstrate some things. So I probably just won't hit save. And so even if I do strange things to this template, it won't matter. So we'll go to the exterior and siding and trim, and the most basic thing is adding a narrative comment. So basically, narratives are everything that live inside of these different boxes, and you can give them a different modifier if you want. But we'll start with just a repair one, and we could add a new comment. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Sorry, something froze up. You guys still seeing me?
Yep.
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 Okay, so I've authored a new library comment, kind of like that thing on NPR. This is only a test, the emergency broadcast system. Um, all right, so we've got a new comment. So if we want to add this to the library, the most simple thing that you can do is come up to the three dots within this observation bubble and hit add to library, right? So we can click that, and now, boom, we've got a new comment that's saved. Keep in mind, if I just wanted to write this for this job and I wasn't saving it for a future job, I do not need to hit add to library. I can just write it and it'll auto save. It's kind of like working in Google Docs. But in this case, we wanted to save it to the library. So now I'm going to delete this comment and I can retrieve it using a keyword search. So this is a test. And it should bring up, here's that comment. This is a test. This is only a test. So that's the most basic original way that we designed Scribeware was you can author a comment, you can save it, and you can retrieve it with a keyword search. Everybody with me there? Pretty
Yep.
basic,
Yep.
So what we found, especially, Scribeware predates the mobile app. So this is like early thinking. And so when we had a mobile app, what we felt was that having to search for comments was kind of a drag. I mean, that keyword searching for things, I was kind of like, that's not fast enough for me. So we came up with some other ways that we'll go over with linking comments and stuff that really help make a template more mobile friendly. But that's basically how you add a comment. Now, if you wanted to change the modifier to a due diligence item, then you could hit update library. We could delete this and we could go retrieve it again. And I don't know why it's pulling up some of those other things, but in any event, if we go down, I knew it'd be down lower because it's a newer comment. But anyway, now you see it retrieved it as a due diligence. So hitting update library would remember new things. So if you wanted to have this comment with an illustration, you could grab Charlie Buell, some of the beautiful illustrations he's done for us. We could grab one of those and we could hit update library. When you're saving a library with an illustration or when there's any media attached, it's going to say, do you want to save the media with it? This is kind of smart because sometimes you're in the middle of a home inspection, you've got a bunch of comments in there, and you really don't want to keep those pictures with the comment because they're from a job. So if that were the case, you would say no, update the text only. But in this case, we like, yeah, I want to save this illustration. So every time I pull up, this is a test, this is only a test, I'll get that comment. So we'll hit yes. And so now we've got a due diligence, we've got a comment, and we've got an illustration. So I think you get the keyword search. We don't have to retrieve it again, but when we retrieve it this time, it would have this illustration attached. Cool. So the next thing that we can do, and another option under these three dots that you might have noticed, is edit in library. So if you edit in library, this is actually a chance to give every narrative a label. The label's really not needed in my mind if you're just doing really simple comments because you can read the comment. The label becomes really important to me if you have long comments and you need to quickly distinguish one from another. Everybody kind of with me there, if you're a long comment, I don't have to read the whole thing. So let's give this a label, testing note. So now we will update this existing library. We'll also save changes to the report. That way it'll show up in this report. So cool. Now we've added a little label, and those can actually be really effective ways. If you like keyword searching, can be really effective. So let's actually edit this, and we'll go in and let's do testing note, and we'll do 4 3s. We'll update that. Now, if I delete it, we'll come up here and do some 3s, and here's our comment. So it looks like I had maybe done another one at some point. That's test inspector note. That's pretty funny. I happened to do it in the same section, but this is the one we've been working on. So we'll open this one. So numbers can actually, if you're really into the keyword searching, you can create like these numbers to retrieve stuff, which can be really powerful. The really cool thing about these numbers is that they will not print in the report. So I've also had some inspectors like to hide building codes in here, which can be kind of cool because like you can know where you're fishing your data out of, that like, hey, this is actually this building code, but have it not show in the report. I know there's a lot of, it can get complicated showing that a code in a report, so you might want to avoid that for obvious reasons. So using these observation labels can be a pretty cool way to hide the code in. And then if someone calls you and has a question about it, the code's sitting right there for you. Make it easy, make you look smarter too. That's 401.3, I believe, right? um, I love it when you can pull that kind of stuff out. Okay, so how's everybody feeling about adding a new comment, retrieving it, like saving an illustration? So this all feeling like it's pretty clear so far? Cool. Yeah. Okay. So You could also, obviously, if you were moving from a different system and you were pasting in comments, that's kind of how you do it, right? You'd hit add observation and you would paste something in, and then you'd come up here and add the library, or edit in library if you wanted to give it a title. So obviously same thing whether you write it or paste something in. Cool. So that goes over creating a comment. So now let's go over linking comments. Before we do, I want to clarify that up adding things to your library has absolutely nothing to do with your template. So the save template button is pretty irrelevant. So everything that transpires inside these colored boxes is part of the narrative library. And the management for that really of saving is all right up here, like I was showing you. The template is kind of more the bones and structure of a report in which a library lives. So just to be super clear, save template really has nothing to do with saving a narrative library comment. Cool. All right, so now I want to show you guys linking. So now that we built a comment and we know we can retrieve it with a keyword search, it would be cool to link stuff. So you can see I've linked things in my template in multiple areas here. So I have siding materials, and if I click on asbestos cement, I get a whole little descriptive comment about the asbestos cement siding. That auto-populates. So when they're blue, they're going to auto-populate, or when they're orange, they're going to auto-populate. So if I click on localized rot repairs needed, that's going to give me, that instantly gives me a comment. So this is, when I said I don't like having a keyword search, these links are absolute gold mine to a fast mobile-friendly template. Because on mobile, you can now just go click, 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 and things start happening for you almost automatically. And it creates an incredibly fast workflow once you start getting your head around it. So I want to show you guys both how you link things and also what you link to, because it actually makes a difference. So up here under trim material and siding material, these are designed to print in my report. So these are descriptive fields that are really helping me follow my SOP. So they're red, which means I've declared them a required field in my template. And so if I click, as soon as I click something, that required field goes away. I have one less thing that I need to go find. And every inspector can set their template up where they have these required fields that help them follow their SOP. So, and when I link things to these fields, it just helps me automate stuff so that, if I find beveled cedar siding, that's already attached. So when we're linking to these fields that are printing in the report, it can just really be a useful way to like build knowledge into a template. A really good example is if we go under electric service and I have panel manufacturer, and we've got Zinsco and Federal Pacific and Bulldog and Fused. So, this kind of makes it hard to miss this in a lot of ways, right? You could set it as a required field, like, okay, you got to tell me who made the panel, and as soon as you hit Zinsco, you automatically get the comment popping up. So connecting narratives to descriptive fields to me is one of the most powerful ways to build kind of a bomb-proof template where it gets harder for people to miss things. That makes sense. You can't do it everywhere. Like it gets too hard to write a template that covers every base. But for certain things like, an electric panel, I mean, another place that I've done this is water heater age. So if we go under water heaters and we look at the age and we scroll down, as soon as I get older than 2012, it automatically populates, hey, this thing's likely close to the end of its life comment, right? So 2010 and boom. So now I've built logic in where it's like, hey, that's older than 2010. You probably want the comment that this thing might be close to the end of its useful life. Everybody, you guys all see the value of linking to these fields that are included in the report. So that's one thing to link to that is incredibly valuable. The other thing you can link to that is equally or more valuable, depending on how you want to set your template up, are inspector-only notes. So now I'm in my branch wiring section, and you can see we've got the bold ones up here that are designed to print in the report. And then below it, everything's in italics. Hopefully you can see how they look look different. So the ones in italics are not supposed to print in the report. I don't want the client to have to read these checkboxes. What I want is my own instant access to these comments so that when I'm on a mobile device, I can go click, 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 and retrieve my comments really quickly. Everybody with me there? Can I get an amen and a hallelujah? We
Mhm.
Cool. And I mean, this sort of came to us from like old school. I mean, I remember being trained at ITA on like checkbox reports, and I was horrified at how bad those reports were. But they were so fast, right? I mean, you could just go through and like click on things and sort of that was how you did your report. So we kind of part of the idea of the inspector only notes is just giving you quick access to your comments. So once you have your template dialed in, and it'd be interesting, people could lob in if they have opinions, but I very rarely do a keyword search because usually I have a lot of my stuff already linked to common comments. I've even gone so far as to, if you're using the narrative template, which is mine, under common observations, you'll find I have that built into every section. And here I've actually built the old school logic tree, which is kind of like our original way back in like dark caveman days of Scribeware, how we used to retrieve comments. And so, you could be using the narrative template and be under branch wiring and think to yourself, gee, I wonder what comments are there for NM cable. And you could click on this and open it up and not protected from physical damage, surface run, exposed by access hatch, loose, NM cable plug not allowed. So again, these are all inspector notes, but this took me a lot of time. But essentially, every section in the narrative template has a lot of comments linked. So between that and these, the reason I don't link everything and put it out front is my objective of how I build a template is having the most frequently used stuff all like right sitting on my lap, and then I try to sort of sequence things. And I still have things that probably aren't linked that I use the keyword search for once in a while. But I do believe if you've got a really well organized template, you shouldn't really need to hit add observation and do a keyword search, for like NM cable or whatever very often. I mean, I know I don't need to do it that often because I just got my library dialed in. Cool. So does that make sense of kind of like what you can like the different objectives of like why we can connect things to different fields? Everybody with me there?
Mhm.
Yeah, Dylan, I got a question though. For
Yeah.
example, like with the wire material, if I have a observation linked to that, what happens if you have multiple tied into that so that when you click on something within that, you get two different observations? How can I eliminate one of those that are tied directly to one?
That's a really good question. You probably wouldn't have that much, but I've got a couple comments that have multiple things attached to them. Sometimes intentionally, although I tried to get rid of most of it because that ends up confusing me. You can connect multiple. I wonder if there was an old roof comment that I think anyway, yeah, there are a few things. Oh, there might be a sewer scope one. Let me check. I'm trying to find this so I can just show people what you're talking about. It's a really good question.
Yeah, because
Um,
I haven't figured out how to remove the one that I don't want tied into it.
yeah, I'll show you, but it would be easier if I have one to show you.
Right.
I thought I had one on my. I can't remember. Okay, so what I would do if two show up, and do you want both comments or do you just want to? Because the easiest would be to take one of the comments and come to the three dots and remove it from the library. And then it's just disconnected. It
Oh,
won't
I got
it
you.
won't come
Okay.
back. If
Yeah,
you
no, when
wanted,
it pops up, I just remove the one that I don't want. But like you said, it's that simple. I didn't think about trying to remove from the
yeah,
library.
that's the easiest way is to remove it from the library.
Okay.
And there's an explanation that we're going to go into that can explain why that can come up even unintentionally. So, but that's the easiest and even if you want to save it, if you go ahead and you can always like go ahead and copy the narrative and move it, like save it and make a new comment. But that should break the link if you take my point, is just remove it from the library. So great question.
I have another question, Dylan, for you. This
Yep.
is Brett. Um, So when you were describing, you don't even use that much the type to search for a comment to get it to populate, but you try to get as many as possible within the common observations. We've been calling that kind of like the top five, but I saw you had like 10 up there of whatever it is, like that
Yep.
applies. Like, okay, all the ones you want, I want to use all the time. And then if you can't fit them all in there, you could have a common observations just below that, like you had, and then click that, and then you might get the rest of them in there. In
Yeah,
which
no,
case, you're hardly ever hitting add observation or searching for a comment.
that's really right. Is that it's almost like layers. I've tried to sequence the template so that, some of the stuff is being served up to me in my regular descriptive fields, and then I've got my inspector only notes here in checkboxes, and then this is a layer deeper, you know. And then, so to me, my keyword search is almost my fourth layer. It's like
Mm.
four tiers down. And it's not like I never use it, but I don't really need it much because I've kind of got my template dialed in enough. I actually do like keyword search because you know how you like have a weird comment about something in an old house that you're like used last year or whatever. Keyword search is great for that. I have weird stuff in the
For
bowels
weird
of my
stuff, yeah.
template that I retrieve, and I so I do love the keyword search. It's just it's slower, and so I have other ways to retrieve comments most of the time.
And Dylan, one thing to add to that, so you can in that common observations where he has the cursor right now, he could do a search there too. Like he could start typing sanitary and it would filter down those as well. And even if they're all nested.
Oh,
So
wow.
sometimes if you want to do a search but you don't want
That's
to search
awesome, Tim.
everything, you can search right in that text box.
Can you do that on mobile too, Tim?
No, not on mobile.
Yeah, that's really
Okay.
cool though. Look at that.
Can you go over nesting, Dylan?
Go over nesting.
Yeah, where you do the second layer of stuff. I've seen Charlie do it before.
Second layer. You mean like
Hit on
these?
your common observation there,
Yep,
and then go down where you hit the sewer gas smell noted or whatever. Right
yep.
there. Yeah. How do you get the arrows over there to the side?
Ah, yeah, let's go over that. Okay. So we'll do it in this section. So we'll come up to the three dots, right, to edit the library and edit the section. And then we want to go under common observations. And then, so notice how like hangers and test caps, and then these ones are indented. So that's how you make those. This is how you create a nesting, as Donnie called it, which is a good word for it. Hey, Donnie, by the way, it's
How
good to
are
see you,
you
buddy.
doing?
So yeah, all you need to do then is just, if you wanted to make a new list, right, we could do test list, and then you'd come here. I like to indent 5 spaces, but you could do whatever, and then you'd
Can
make a
you
new.
can you say that again? My computer just shut down.
Yeah, so basically you just need to indent the list. And so you just start with test list, right? And then you'd come down
Yeah.
here. And I like to indent 5 spaces. I think you can do less than that, but I'll do five. One,
Uh,
two, three, four, five. And then new comment.
Hitting the
One, two.
tab button works really well for that too.
Oh yeah, awesome. I
That's
remember
like I
it
use the
didn't at
tab.
one point.
Dylan, I'd also add that for fun, you can nest infinitely.
What
You
what does that
can.
mean, Charlie?
It means that under noted for clean out, you can put something under that and indent that.
So you could indent this one?
Yeah. And you can keep doing that infinitely.
That's pretty amazing. All right, so now let's hit
At least,
save.
Tim could maybe tell me, maybe to qualify my infinitely, but you can do it a lot.
Not as much as pi.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, so
Oh,
you
I would
guys,
play with that.
yeah, you guys see how that,
I used to go really deep with that, but
sure.
I got away from it to never more than one, just because you just don't. It takes too much time to go through.
Yeah, but that's
There's
how I
so many
built.
easier ways to do it.
Yeah, I do think that these, especially if you're newer inspector or you just want to like, this was an insane amount of work, but these common observations were really cool way for me to kind of organize my library. It was definitely not for the faint of heart, but it was an opportunity to really go through and be like, all right, what are my, corroded trap comments and stuff. The interesting thing is this shows how dated my library is because now I would probably have one, I've actually gone through and I use so many fewer comments than I used to use now because of the way we can gunny sack things. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
my
Well,
library's
I'll give you let me give you a train of thought for the multi-inspector firms. I've got one inspector that wants to say one thing and another inspector that wants to say another way. I can see a way to put the comment in and then let kind of code it to where that they know which one's theirs, and then they
You
can put
just
their comment in.
you
yeah.
could just say you could have Bob's comment and Charlie's comment and Rob's
Yeah,
comment. Yeah, just
You could even use that label feature and tag it with a number,
yeah.
you know, and assign
mhm.
them a specific number. It's like, all right, you're, 222 or you're 333 or something.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what I was thinking because I hear that a lot.
yep. Yeah, no, that's a cool idea, Donnie. And that is a multi-inspection firm challenge for sure. Um,
I
cool.
have another quick question while we're
Yeah,
in
shoot.
comment world. Um, how if you do hit as a repair or maintenance, or you hit, create an observation, either way, whatever level it is, and then you have those little three dots. Um, how often do people use that? I don't, for some reason, I find it awkward. Maybe I just haven't gotten used to it to like go in there
Which
and hit the three dots.
these three dots here, like within the comment or
No, if you create an observation, wait, oh, you're in it. You're sorry, I can't. I'm on a mobile, so I can't see that well.
yep.
Um, no, I don't see it. Maybe it's specific to our template. I'm not sure.
Well, these three dots, like within the comment here, are we talking about what?
No,
Okay.
no. Maybe it's a gunny sack. It usually would be down below. It's like
Ah, yeah, yeah.
the
Yep.
observation, and then it says after it, repair suggested by contractor, but in between it's this little yellow highlighted spot. Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Looks
yeah,
like kind of
something
like
like
that.
this. Yep. What was your comment about those or
Yes.
question?
I mean, again, you were talking about layers earlier. I'm just trying to get grok the whole scene of like, all right, there's the basic top five, there's the common observations, there's the drop downs, you can dig into that. But then there's another whole layer that you can use that. And why have that additionally, all those options?
Yeah, so there's the gunny sacks are kind of a whole other thing. I don't want to dive too deep into or we'll get distracted, but I like to I have set them up in my template for this use a lot where I used to have, for exterior rot repairs, I used to maybe have one for like minor rot repairs, major rot repairs. Major rot repairs could be concealed damage, you know, uh, rot repairs, stucco. I don't know, like, right? You could have like all these iterations of different comments, and it drove me insane. And so now I can just be like, well, rot repairs are needed, and I can make a list where, and then these for me are ways I can massage the comment to be more specific. And rather than having to have this massive library, I know that it's all under this one comment of rot repair. So it's kind of easier for me to retrieve stuff. I don't have to look through as much. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
It does make sense. Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the best example I could give that's just quick, the rot repairs isn't, I mean, that's a decent one, but like under bathrooms, like slow drain. And you guys know me, like I have freaking millions of comments that are really specific, and I had so many slow drain comments, it was stupid. So now I just have like slow drain repair as needed. But I can click on this, and this often involves just cleaning out the trap, or gurgling was noted, indicating poor venting. It's a countertop model sink, and these never drain right. Or when I rub my finger across the drain, it seems to fix the problem, which is I've noticed that there are sinks built like that. In this case, the flow seems faster than the drain. In this case, the stopper is not seated correctly. And then I have a little period so I could freehand something. And I know this might be OCD, but like to me, this lets me be very specific and I don't have, it's really almost no work. I mean, I just have to like make a couple clicks, you know? And part of what I'm trying to do with this is what Charlie Buell calls anticipatory report writing. Like if you say that the countertop model sink drains slow, what's going to happen is they're going to call a plumber out and he's going to look at your client and charge him $500 and say, these things suck. They always drain slow. And I don't want to be like like you told me that drains slow and the plumber said they always. So I'm trying to get out in front of that and have it not
Right.
make me look bad. And so
You mean I could get more for that than what I'm charging?
yeah, yeah, they probably do. That's right. Anyway, but does that make sense? I mean, that's why I do
Yeah.
this, and it's why I used to have so many comments, but it's also this gunny sacking approach has allowed me to really make it so painless that there's almost no excuse not to do it. I have one comment. So it's kind of neat in my sinks now. I have slow drains, sink repairs, stopper repairs, water stains below, trap seal
But
too deep, trap arm
I
too
like
long.
the idea that it's more about the massaging, though. That's good because you can still cover it generally, and then be like, "Well, I'm going to get in there and do this," but you might not do that half the time or most of the time.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. I could just, if I leave it blank, that won't print, you know? So it's like big deal. But if
yeah.
I need to massage it, I can. And it just doesn't really, yeah. So, and one thing it does too is it freed me up to like, I've been trying to do this, my whole template is my goal is that almost every comment could be as short as this with all of that other information as the ability to add it with some clicks, if that makes sense, you know. So then
Hmm.
the template becomes that the library comments are as short or as long as you want to click on them.
Can
You see
I
what I'm?
Hmm.
interject for a second?
Yeah, please, Donnie.
That's why my entire template's written.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey,
We're gonna,
Tim.
Donnie, we have it on the schedule. Will you get with me? I got to make sure you know about it, but we have it with our marketing person because I really want Donnie to show off his template. It's got some very cool workflows. But anyway, yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, I just had a question for Tim. Tim, is he still here? Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Tim's on here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah. Are we going to be able to have text replacement within those choices in Gunny Sacks?
Oh,
That would be amazing.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
really.
don't know. Steve has some plans around that, and I don't know what they are yet. So we'll have to see what he's got in mind.
What Charlie's talking about, guys, is if there could be ways to have text replacement within the gunnies, you know. We don't have that at the moment, which would be
Or
pretty cool.
another
I,
level, either one.
Yeah, yeah. We should do. I don't want to go too deep into gunnies because that'll get
Okay.
us sidetracked. We could do a whole meeting just on gunnies, so we'll do that here. Okay. So proceeding now, we know that anybody we can super easy to write a comment, add it to the library, and we know that we can connect it to all these different types of fields that can be very useful in different ways, right? Everybody with me here?
Talk more
Amens.
about that.
Well, I mean, to me, the different ways are you connect them to required descriptive fields to build knowledge and logic into your template. You build them into inspector only notes to leverage the mullet feature, business in the front, party in the back, right? The idea is that you can just click on things, party in the back to get your comments, and the ugly bullets or check boxes don't print in the report, but you get your beautiful narrative comments all showing up.
So how do you
Uh,
connect to multiple fields?
well, we're going to do connecting to fields here in just a moment.
Okay,
That's our next mission.
awesome.
So, in fact, let's do that. Um,
yeah.
so let's go ahead and we're going to do a few different things. Why don't we go under citing material here, and let's add a field under citing material that we're going to connect to. So we'll edit section, right? And we're going to use the pen, and we'll go right under aluminum, and we'll do test. So we want to connect things to this little test button. So we did that and we come under here and there's test, but there's no color associated with it. We'll go over the colors in a little bit too. So the simplest and fastest way is you choose test and then you go to the narrative that you want to attach and it has to be added to the library. So if it's not part of the library, make sure you add the library. Once it's a part of your library, you can connect to fields. Everybody see me? Amens, hallelujahs. Yep, we're there. We click on that and we click on test and then we hit close. And now we could delete this comment and we should be able to delete this. And now, boom, we've just built a link. Guys want me to do that one more time?
And you need to save it to your template if you're going to continue to use it.
Thank you, Jamie. That's correct. If you wanted that, this would require a template save. Again, everything that transpires within this box is part of the library, but the fact that we connected it to a narrative and turned it orange is part of the template. Nice one, Jamie. So to save it again, and good to see you, Jamie, would be a template save. So yeah. Okay, so that's the easiest one is connect to fields, and it's just built right into the narrative. So you get the little link up, and you hit connect to fields, and then you go ahead and you can see it. So that is the easiest and fastest. But there are some other ways that are kind of cool. So let's do another. We'll use that same comment, and we'll connect it to in a different way. Let's let's connect it to, we're going to edit section, and I'm going to edit within this inspector only note. So we'll come in here and we'll do test. So now we've got our little test box and we've got the comment that we want with the 3s. So this was the old way of doing it, is we edit the section and we come under the pen. And we've added this, and then right down here at the bottom left is suggested observations. And so we could go ahead and we hit, when you hit that, it brings up all these fields. So we want to, which fields you can connect. If we wanted to connect this, we could connect it to every single field here, which is kind of neat. But let's connect it to these 2, and then we'll hit next. And then we can use that keyword search with the 3s to retrieve it. There's the comment. So add to report automatically. I check that, and then we hit save. And then you have to hit save again. So now, let's delete that one just to get it out of the way. So now here we've got, let's hit vinyl siding repairs. We get both the vinyl siding comment and this new comment, or we could hit the test. And I won't do anything because we've already chosen that comment once. But everybody with me? Does that make sense?
Can you connect it to different chapters, sections?
So no, basically that gets to library management, and we'll dive into that in a minute, and I think it'll make the most sense when we get to how the library is organized. Does that sound good, Barry? Because that's we'll get there.
Okay.
Another comment that you can do on some things, if you want it to where you have 2, I create one like under repair and then one under defective, and they have exactly the same thing in them, but you can have them in 2 different places if you want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Say that again, Donnie.
You could, like where you've got that one that you just created, open it back up.
This test one.
Yes.
Yep.
And then you can just basically create you another field and copy and paste everything in that one, and then call the next one test 2. And then that way, if you want to write test up once and test up as a different problem, then you already got 2 libraries within the same section.
So let's try to do this. So we edit sections. So we come under here. You want to call the next one test 2.
Test 2.
Okay. And then we hit save.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to link the same comment to that?
No, you put your cursor inside your blue box.
Yep.
And do the Control A. Now you need to get it. You want to get everything, picture and all. Yeah. If it will. I don't do them with pictures in them, but anyway. And then to add you another observation, go down to your add observation button below that one.
Oh, I see what you're doing. And
now you got that one repaired. Now just paste that in the orange.
Yeah.
And then save it, and then and you can connect it, and it
Yeah.
actually says exactly the same thing, but it's a different pull down in a different location.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. Tim, actually, we're gonna get distracted here, Tim, but we could go over buttons, uh, which kind of solves that in another way. Maybe we
It,
should.
it, it does it does solve it in another way, but this one, the buttons, you can't make required fields out of buttons. There's a problem that comes with that.
Oh, interesting.
This
Okay,
all this goes around that problem.
that's super
Wait,
cool. Let
now,
me let me just finish because what I want to
Go
finish
ahead.
showing what Donnie, because this is actually really a good thing to show. So now we've got the same comment, right? We could make it a due diligence. We could change the modifier. Let's call it a repair, so it's a different modifier. But if you wanted to distinguish, this is another good use case for edit and library. And this could be like test number 2. So now you can distinguish. I mean, it may not matter, but it's kind of nice to know that these are like separate comments. So now you could go ahead and link another comment to there, right? And there's test 2. Now we've got two comments linked. That helpful, everybody? Charlie, you want to chime in on it?
yeah, if you put take siding, well, that's in test 2. If you put siding material in front of test 2 in the label, that automatically connects it, and then you can just pull it up anywhere in the report using the same.
Are you talking about the keyword linking?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to get to that. That's our next mission, Charlie.
Okay.
All right. So everybody follow us so far? You guys enjoying this? Bated breath.
Like I said, where we use that, if you got exterior siding, you've got brick siding, and then you've got wood siding, and then you want the same thing basically. And that's not a really good example, but you want it in 2 different locations. That right there makes it easy. That's what way we use it.
Yeah, no, I think that it can be really nice to be able to have multiple of the same comment, or at least really close. So that's exactly how you do it. So I did want to, if we're good on this, I wanted to get to the other way. There's actually 3 ways that you can link a narrative to a field. So the other way is actually with keywords. So in this one, I'm not the best at, but let's see if we can make it happen. So let's go ahead and edit section, and we'll go under siding and trim, and we'll go down a little bit, and dead deer comment. I don't know. I'm trying to think of just something funny to say. All right, so we've got a new field here. And so if you were to write a new comment and in the observation title, you called it siding material dead deer comment, it would auto link it. So one of the ways you can do it is to actually, can't you copy this, Charlie? I thought we used to be able to do that. Can't copy, you can copy part of it. So we'll copy this, and then let's make a new comment. I'm just going to put a bunch of gibberish in.
I
And
don't know why it does that, Dylan, because I can get both at the same time. In fact, I usually will comment everything in the string and then just to delete the ones I don't want, because then you don't have to worry about misspelling something or remembering or anything.
So you guys see how up in label it says siding material dead deer comment? So it kind of looks, it's exactly what's here. If we add as a new library entry, so now we've got siding material dead deer comment with this gibberish. I should be able to delete it
What
now.
I like about that is you always know where it's connected.
So now there's dead deer comment. You guys see how that automatically turned orange? Yeah. This is we actually kind of built this for Charlie. He was coming over from an Excel sheet, was his prior system, and it kind of worked perfectly because like everything was so organized. It was all like Excel like. So it was really like mapping words, and so it was pretty effective. I don't really use it that much. It's why I'm not that good at it. Like everything, if you practice, you can make it a lot more efficient. But some people love it. So one of the neat things about Scribeware that's a curse and a blessing is just there's a lot of ways to do things, and that can make it hard. But when you get your head around it, it can also make it really useful and powerful. So everybody with me on all the now the different ways of linking. There's three different ways to link a narrative to a field. Cool.
Let me ask you a question, Dylan.
Yeah, please do.
Very basic. What template are you using for your report right now? Because I'm not familiar with it. I usually use a different one.
Yeah, I use the narrative style template, and
Okay,
we provide that. And
I understand. I
yeah,
just didn't know what it was.
yeah, yep. And that's what I'm using for this demonstration. I don't know. It's the one I use every day, so I'm just the most familiar with it. So it's easiest for me to fiddle with.
So
Um,
Dylan, one thing to add, and I think you kind of alluded to this earlier, but I forget who asked about the double attached comments before. But sometimes the reason that there's a double attached comment is because one of them is attached using that name method.
Thank you, Tim.
So sometimes it's a sometimes changing the name on the comment, on like changing the label if it just happens to follow the right style to get name linked.
Yeah, does that
That'll
make sense, Devin? It's sometimes I think it was Devin that asked that, and sometimes like you have something you didn't intend to link it, but it can link accidentally by just how you've named something. So I think that happened to me once or twice. So uh, yeah, in any event, thank you for bringing that up, Tim. Um, okay,
I'm
so
sorry, I missed part of that. Can you re-explain how to cure the remedy?
Yeah,
um,
so
go ahead, Tim.
if it's accidentally linking because you have the field name and then a colon or a hyphen, there's lots of different things you can have as a separator, and then you have the field option name and it's linking because of that, then you just change the label. You add something to one side or the other so that it doesn't have the same words on both sides of the colon or hyphen or whatever.
Okay.
And that'll break that second link. And that actually, I don't know if anybody has feedback on that because that does happen periodically. We've been talking about making that second like name-based linking method an optional thing, like default to turn it on, but have you be able to turn it off. So I don't know if
That's an
anybody
interesting
has
idea. Yeah.
strong opinions on that, let us know. So, but
Yeah.
we might do that just to, because it's sometimes frustrating when it's accidentally linked and you just don't know why.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would probably turn mine off. I just don't really
Hmm.
need it, you know. But I also
Whatever.
like that we have it. I I have if you were systematically building a template, it's really phenomenal. If you're like really organized and like there's been some like sections I've gone over and used that and it was great, but it for my day-to-day stuff I don't. Yeah, Charlie.
Well, just one of the cool things about that third method is that you can have a whole chain of words that can pull up that one comment, and you can, like for example, you had a comment that it's present would be one choice, and then the second choice is it's a condo association issue, where you could just click on either one or just condo association, and I have sometimes that pull up there's 5 or 6 choices that pull up that same comment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but with the keyword search, like you mean it links to all those different things?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
You
Yeah.
just put the section name, and then like in yours there you'd say citing material and say test, and then you could put space, what is it, space minus sign space, and then another word, and you could literally have any number of words that choices that pull up that same comment, because sometimes it matters. But that's only to be used if you want to see those words that are pulling up the comment. But that helps you if you want it in line,
Hmm.
where the narrative is in line with what's bringing
Yeah.
what your choices are.
Interesting. Um, all right. So I wanted to keep trying to get us through because there's the final step of like we're trying to get through library management. And so Barry asked a question about like, is this saved per section or is this saved per chapter? So now I want to unpack library categories. And this is an incredibly powerful part of Scribeware that is very cool. So I'm in siding and trim, and if I wanted to, I can edit the section and I can edit the library category. And so when I do that, I can see that I have 455 entries attached to my narrative exterior section. So neat. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's like a folder of narratives that are attached to this section. If if it struck me that I wanted sync comments in my siding and trim section, I could type in sync, and I have either narrative bathroom sinks or kitchen sinks. So I could put my kitchen sinks, update library category, and now I could type in trap, and there's rodent proofing, trap seal too deep, So now I've got kitchen sink comments in my siding and trim section. And if I want to disconnect it, you can just edit the section, edit the library category, and disconnect them. So it's incredibly powerful when you get your head around it that you can, visualize Scribeware is providing you folders for every section, and you can connect those folders to different sections in the report. Everybody with me so far? Like that makes sense on how library categories work. I'm going to keep unpacking it, but that's like at the beginning of library categories is just so let's say we added a new section. So I'm working on a template and I come up to the three dots and we add a blank section. So now I got a blank section and we could call this test section. And then we could come up here and we could edit section, edit library category, and it doesn't have anything, right? And that's because I haven't saved anything yet. So there's nothing there. So let's add a comment. And we will go ahead and add to library. So now the system had to give it a folder. It had no place to put it, so it had to build a folder. So let's see what it made for us. We'll edit the section, we'll edit library category, exterior, that's the chapter, test section. So it built a pretty obvious library category based on the chapter and the section. Everybody with me? Yep. Cool. So now, and that's kind of just how like it'll automatically build stuff. So you could end up with like too many categories, which is something that I had for a while. So you do have the opportunity to fiddle with your categories. So let me show you that. If you go under the library tab right up here in the middle on desktop, and you go under the three dots all the way to the right side, we can show all categories or we can edit the category list. So I want to edit the category list to begin with. So these are all the categories that are only in the template that I'm working in. So by default, we only load the categories within a given template to try to keep things manageable. You can imagine my system, I've got like millions of different templates and stuff, so it would be kind of unruly. So where's that test one? I wonder if it showed up in here. Here it is, exterior test. So if I wanted to, I could click on this exterior test and I could delete it. If I didn't want it, I could, I think I can rename it. I click on the little pen and we could call it something different. Or what we could do is if I click on that and another one like let's put it in the exterior. If I click on exterior, I could merge it and you can merge two categories together. When you do that, I believe it will take the name of the first one. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that. I think
Dylan,
yeah.
I wonder if it would work if you renamed it to the second one. Like if you renamed that first one to narrative exterior, if it would merge them like a file will do, like a folder will do on.
Yeah, I don't know, Tim. Do you know that? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't think rename. I think you can have two of the same name if you.
Yeah, I think you can too.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the
Just wondering
merging
if that might solve
and
that
and
problem.
Tim or Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think if you choose the first one, that will be the dominant, and then you choose the next one, and if you hit merge, merge two categories into narrative exterior. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to keep the first one. And if I'm not going to do it, but if I hit yes, it would merge that one comment in there and then you'd get rid of that. So you can delete them, you can rename them, and you can merge them. So it's actually kind of a powerful way to go through and organize your folders of comments. And once you have them organized, you can share them to different sections of your report as needed. This can be incredibly helpful if you are wanting to build like a commercial template or like, a pre-drywall template or you got different
That's a
templates.
quick question I have. I know this is, but I'm building a commercial template right now. I would kind of like to take one and copy it and just replicate it. Can you replicate a whole section of a library? That
I
way you
don't,
screw one up, the other one's still the same.
yeah, no, well, and that's, you bring up a good point because like, what if you took all your roof comments but wanted to change the word from home to building or something? Can you,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can copy a whole library category. Do you know, Tim?
Not from there, but I think you can do it on the screen behind that, where you just select them all and then copy them.
You can also just save it as a new template, and then they're there, and then screw up the other one.
Yeah, so
The
here I just
Yeah, but
selected.
if I build it in, I wanted to move it back to the other one, then it'd be hard to do.
Well,
I don't
no,
know.
no, it's easy to move it.
So let's go to exterior and siding and trim, and I'll click on this, and then you can. This is actually how you could globally set tags, which is actually kind of a nice distraction just for a second. But if you click on that, and I wanted to tag all my siding comments as general contractor, that's kind of how you would do that, which is another.
Well,
I
I'm
don't want
glad
to
you
get
showed
too.
me that. I've done
Yeah,
them individual.
yeah, this is how you do that. So you see I went under the exterior chapter, siding and trim section, and that kind of winnowed the library down to just the section I'm working in. And then I hit this little box up here that checked every single comment in the exterior chapter siding and trim section. And then you go under the tag and you can go ahead and use one of your tags to tag all of your comments. So that's pretty cool. But it looks like you can also copy selected entries.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that what
Copy.
you were thinking, Tim?
Yeah, at the bottom you can do add a new category, and you
Okay.
can that's how you would copy the whole categories. You would just take all the entries, create a new category, and then
Dude,
it'll put a new version of each one into that other category.
that's amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, super cool. Nice job, Tim.
Thank you.
And it looks like you could move them. Oh, you could move them to a whole different category. There's kind
Yeah,
of
that's like
easier
if you're
ways
trying
to
to
do that.
split up a library and you want to select half of them and move them to something else, um,
Yep.
then you could do that.
Cool. All right.
Dylan,
So,
I have a quick question for
yeah,
you
Joe,
regarding
good to
that.
see you, man.
Hey, great to see you. Thanks for your help early this morning, by the way. You guys were fantastic.
Yeah, happy to help, man.
Example for you on that merge, if I'm hearing you properly, let's say I wanted to take our ground section and put it under exterior. That would be an example of how we could merge those two, and all that ground stuff would then be under the exterior section.
I think then what you just want to use is category. So what you can see my screen, right?
Oh yeah.
So if I wanted all of my grounds comments under siding and trim, I would edit the section, edit library category, come under search and type in ground. Here's my, well, it's not that one. Here's grounds with 231 comments, update library. And now we could test it out in tree and tree roots damaging driveway. I mean, it just instantly moved 230 comments into that section.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and to add to that, if you're permanently combining them and you never want them to be separate again, and they're kind of small libraries to begin with, then yeah, you could merge them.
Okay.
Because it's like if you have, let's see, I don't know who you
I
got
think I
that.
got it.
The Yeah, if you have one or two or three libraries connected to a section, that's no problem. If you start getting a lot of libraries connected to a section, it can make it load a little bit slower. Um,
Okay.
So you don't, I mean, like two is fine. But if you have like 20 libraries with 10 comments in each and you try and connect them all to one section, it's going to slow everything down.
Yeah, then I would merge
Understood.
Whereas,
them for
yeah,
sure. Yep.
yeah,
Gotcha. Great. Just helped me with two questions at once there. Thanks.
yep.
Hey Tim, what's the limit on how many like per? Because I know like some are like 455, some are 200 and something, but because I've run into an issue where I max out and then I have to create like another.
It doesn't, it has more to do with the way that they're stored in the system. And so it's more about the length of the comment and how many, tags and photos. And, if you have super complicated ones with huge gunny stacks, you're going to max out a lot faster. If you
Okay,
have, 1,000 comments with one word in them, they'll probably all fit. So it's more of it's not a set number. It's
sure.
just,
What did you max out on the photo captions library or on the regular library?
No, on the
Or
regular library, like per, I'm guessing it's like per chapter. Like I had to create like on my luxury properties. Sometimes, we're doing like 30,000 square feet,
yep.
and there's just so many HVAC units, so we have to like add another chapter. Um, I forget which. I mean, it's been a little while now. It's been like 6 or 7 months, but I reached out to Steve because I was having issues like getting an error, and he kind of walked me through how to circumvent it, which is kind of how we figured out like to modify our luxury template. But yeah, it was kind of frustrating because like the one that we were doing it wasn't mega large, but it was like 13,000 square feet, and there was just a lot of stuff wrong, and we kept running into issues. It was me and one other guy that were on the same property together, and we were just hitting a bunch of issues.
And so was it that you had too many, Steve thought there was just too many library entries in one place?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Huh. I mean, you can see I've got 455 here. I think these might only hold 500, I thought, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Um, so I kind of like to have them relatively consolidated. When I first had my template, I would have uh, you know, a library category per section, and then I ended up merging to create them per chapter. So that's kind of how I organized mine, but you could do it either way that you want. You could try breaking it up into section, maybe that would help. If you end up still stuck with it, hit us up and one of us could try to meet with you and jump on that template and see what's going on with it. I also wonder about, when you with like you mentioned HVAC, but we could talk about buttons here in a minute. Before I do, we might have time for something, so I might want to go back to it. But I want to really try to keep this Zoom focused on library management. But another cool thing about the Scribeware that I kind of forgot about mentioning is we have a photo captions library. And it's actually distinct from the regular library. So I'm in my deck section, and if we go under library and we're in exterior, let's go under decks and wood decks. So right now we have show all, but we could show only observations, and then this is like full-blown comments, or show only media captions. And so now we've got a media captions library that's just like short, short stuff. And this is actually really powerful. I mean, the idea behind it is that if we, write a comment on the deck, and I could click on a comment, and so you click on the picture, and here's where you would write a photo caption, and I could start typing in ledger, and I've got all these pre-made ledger comments. The ledger board flashing's been run over the decking. So this is a really fast workflow that can be pretty cool. So that's and if you want to, there's two different ways that you add to your photo captions library. The first one is the fluid way, and that is you take a picture, you put it in a comment, and you write a caption. So this is only a test. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to. I want to write this again, sorry. All right, so we have a new comment here, and if you wanted to add this so you could get this again, you come up to the three dots and you add it to the library. So this is how you would add a photo caption library comment. And so that is workflow number one. The other way, if you wanted to really build out a detailed library of photo captions, is to go into the library tab up here and show only media captions, and then hit this little plus mark, add new, and you could add. So now you've got a new one. So um, if you guys are at all fans of the photo caption to bullet workflow, which is one of my favorites, having a rich photo captions library can be really helpful. Not everybody uses them, but I only use them in certain sections of my report. The deck is actually one of my favorite places to use them. Anybody else use the photo captions library? You do, Jim?
I've been
Yeah.
using it.
Yeah, I think it can be really great. So anyway, that's how you add to your photo captions library and retrieve your photo captions library.
Can
So
you
we
show
could,
retrieve again?
yeah, you just, sorry, I'll go to the top. You click on a picture that you've added, and this works on the mobile app as well. And you just go into the little box here where you would caption a picture, and I'll just type in test, and here's that one we just wrote together, test media caption. So now it's there. You just hit save and close. Now you've got it. And to finish the thought, photo caption to bullet workflow, I can now put my cursor in this comment. This comment is designed to display my photo captions as bullets. And all I need to do is hit this little button with the three lines on it, and I get a bulleted list of my photo captions. Anybody have any questions on the photo captions to bullets? Like I'm happy to stop on that. It's probably less good for teams maybe because it's a little more freehanding, but for all you rugged individualists out there, it's probably one of my favorite techniques. I do it all the time.
I love that workflow.
Awesome.
I have a question. When you have one bullet in there that's designated already and has the highlighting in it, I guess I just have to get used to placing the cursor above and not clicking it. Because every time you click into that, bam, it just goes back into it and you have the choices to make. And
Yeah,
sometimes I want to modify that or change it, whatever, and I can't. It just takes me right into the options.
so you mean if you already have a pre-made gunny sack there?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me show you that. It's a really good question. Here, I need to find it. Let's go to my syncs for a minute. Okay, so here's a comment with, we'll add a couple gunny sacks. So within this, one of my favorite workarounds is what Donnie Bentley came up with. Within your gunnies, if you add a period, that is very convenient for letting you freehand things. So the gunnies are great, but sometimes you want to add more of things that aren't there. So that's one thing. Now let's add a picture and we'll caption it. And we'll save and close. And then with the cursor there, you should be able to hit that and add another bullet as well.
What did you do with the period?
Let's go under this gunny sack and open it up. So here's my list of gurgling drains and stuff. And if we edit this, you'll see that one of the things that I've added in here is a period. See how there's just a period there? And you could add
Yeah.
multiple periods, but all they are is a little holding place that lets you relatively quickly um, freehand something. It just gives you, especially on the mobile, it gives you a place to put your finger that isn't fussy.
It's already in place. You just pop it in. Will it?
Yeah, correct.
Gotcha.
So anyway, a little like note to self, if you like building little gunnies, put some extra periods in there and it makes them a lot more flexible so that you can freehand stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One
Hey,
at the
Dylan,
beginning, one at the end is good.
What's that, Charlie?
I'm not sure how it would work on mobile, but on desktop, you can also just pick a choice you don't want and just change it.
Oh yeah, that's probably true, huh? That was probably a little trickier on mobile, but I bet you could still do it.
On mobile, you can do a talk to text, and it works pretty good.
So you'll just hit the period and do a talk to text.
Yes,
Yeah.
Does it take away the period?
No,
it does not.
I click on the period and I give it one backspace.
Yeah, there you
That's
go. Yeah, that's what
you
I do.
click in front of it and leave the period at the end, either one.
Yeah.
Oh, that too, that too.
Yeah.
Depending on how big
That's a
of
good
fingers
point.
you got.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. No, that's a great question. Okay, so I think now we've talked about photo captions library and how you manage that. And then we've talked about how like Barry was asking earlier about like, does that work in the deck section or whatever? And I think Barry, if these links that you build are per section. So if you wanted to build a link in the deck section you would need to both get the comments there and then build a link there, you know. So when building a section here doesn't touch any other section, all of the construction you do within a template is within a section.
Hey, Dylan, on mobile, can you move to a new line without, how you on desktop you have to hold shift and hit enter and you can move to a new line. Can you on mobile, can you do that?
Uh, I don't think
I
so.
don't I don't think you can. I've
Yeah.
tried it, and that's what the period really helps with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I can
think
see
that's
that.
why you need the period. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I still have some I
I'll
can
tell you,
just
on the mobile, the way that I do it, if you want to do something crazy, I have a period at the front, a period at the end, and I have the term recommend repair. And every one of my things, I just got recommend repair. Like Charlie said, you can just go back and change it if you want to. But if you hit recommend repair on the mobile, you can do talk to text, hit your enter key, talk to text, hit your enter key, and you got 3 lines now with 3 bullets.
There you go.
Yeah. Because
yeah. Yep.
Yep.
I say if you can get to the next line, you can just add a bullet and start typing away.
Yep.
But
No,
if you'll stay in the line and hit the enter key, it'll create another bullet.
Oh.
so I think we kind of did it. Anybody want to chime in? Am I missing anything about library management?
Uh, Dylan, you mentioned you were going to go over the colors in your, I guess they're inspector only notes. So there's black,
Thank you.
blue, and red.
Yes. Oh, heaven. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, we can just do it right here. So, the black is obviously nothing is linked to it. The blue means a comment is linked to it that is a modifier that is show next to connected field value. And if I click an orange one, a comment is attached to it that is not show next to connected field value. So this is actually some really cool creative stuff within Scribeware, but obviously is a little complicated. It's not really complicated, but it's another uh, plot twist. So the reason I designed my template like this that I like is my background information is kind of indented and in italics and in kind of a gray font, whereas like my repair stuff is kind of larger in a colored box and down at the bottom. And so I think that helps create kind of a separation that I really like in my template. My theory is that I do pretty detailed reports and it lets people kind of glance over stuff that seems less important, right? I always, if you're going to write a detailed report in my mind, I actually want someone to be able to get what they need out of it in like 2 minutes. You know, I think it should be scannable. So this is kind of what I was trying to achieve with that. Um, but the show next to connected field value is not to be underestimated. If I were to design a mobile-friendly, fast template, I would probably set all my modifiers as show next to connected field value. So watch what I do. We're going to go under this repair modifier in my template. So we're going to go under settings, and report templates and, oops, sorry, not report templates, observation modifiers and this repair modifier. So I'm going to switch this to show next to connected field value. So, and then I'm going to hit save changes and we'll go back in here and whoop, it got moved up. See how it's like now it's connected. And so what it means is if you link a narrative to something, it now shows next to it. And this is an insanely powerful workflow that is actually kind of mind-bogglingly powerful, especially I think for commercial inspections or for fast mobile app workflows. It's pretty hard to beat. So now if we delete this, uh, let and we delete this and we come under here, now see how what used to be one is blue and one's orange, and now they're both blue. Right. And so now let's go. So galvanized and operative are both blue, but if I go under my settings, observation modifiers, and my repair modifier, this is the show next to connected field value, and I uncheck that and hit save. Now, when we come back here and look, it's orange. So that's the only difference is just really how it displays. So to me, one of the limitations of building a template around show next to connected field value is if you freehand something, it'll always be down here, even if you want it connected to something up here.
That goes back to where I said I have more than one.
That's why Donnie got very creative with the periods and stuff because he needed an ability to freehand something and have it still be up here. And so it's really not much of an impediment. It actually makes the add observation button like completely obsolete. Like you would never use it really. There would be no need for it. So it's a cool example of like I don't really use add observation hardly at all, even though when we very first built Scribeware, it was like, okay, you add new observation. Like that was like the original way that we did things, and it's so old now that like Donnie has a template that he literally never uses it anymore. So that's kind of funny. Do you guys want me to show you just a glimpse of like what that's like? We're gonna run out of time, but so the commercial template that I'm working on is built around this premise for a really good reason, and that is that
Hey, Dylan, before you jump to that,
yeah.
I thought each of those modifiers would still go next to the connected field. So anything that's a repair modifier, if you changed it to connected field, would be up top, no? Underneath it?
Yeah, that's how it works. So here, we'll go into that one just to clarify that. I'll go back to
So any observation that you added, if you put that repair modifier to it, it's going to still stack up with those other ones.
well, so this is the section we were looking at, and so let me delete these. If they're blue, they'll show up where you've linked them. If they're orange, they'll go to the bottom.
Understood.
And if you want everything to show up next to connected field value, the only thing that's making this show up at the bottom is if I go under settings and observation modifiers and repair, I do not have show next to connected field value checked for that modifier.
Gotcha.
Dylan, I don't have anything orange anymore.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean that doesn't surprise me. Like it's such a powerful workflow and you don't even use a mobile app, Charlie. So I mean, but mobile app, it's really, really powerful.
The end result is so much better to me with everything where it belongs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we've been doing. That's what I was clarifying.
Well, what it lets you do ultimately is so in my template, if we look at this, things are where they belong because they're both under sinks and cabinets, right? So everything's right where they belong, and you can go under toilets, and everything can be right where it belongs. But I have all these different clicks to get into all these different sections on the mobile app.
And mine's all in one column.
Exactly. If you want to save all of that, let's go look at the commercial template. And the whole idea is rather than having all these sections, we could build everything into a single section. So, I mean, the interior unit for my commercial, I literally have every single section. I mean, in my template, this would be like 40 sections or something crazy. And it's all just in one section, and it's like walls and ceilings, flooring, doors, glazing, service equipment, restrooms, water heaters, sinks. It's all in one place. You guys kind of see the power of that. And so then if you have a repair comment, you just come down and interior repairs needed, and there's your comment, and they'll all just kind of stack up with each other, Does that make sense? You see how the flexibility is, I mean, from a navigation standpoint, now on a commercial job, I go into a unit and I don't ever have to navigate out of that one section on a commercial building. I could handle the heating system, the electrical system, laundries, sinks, fireplaces, kitchenettes, whatever. There's zero navigation. It's all in one section.
I'll tell you what I've done on mine, Dylan. If you go down where you got your buttons,
Yep.
where you got like let's go to your water heater. When you click on enter unit,
Yep.
see there you got your observations. I've created a button right beside that one and tied it to a action item. That way you can write your problem right beside it.
Yeah, so like, I mean, that's kind of how I did. Is that what I mean? So the idea here is like we could go over these buttons because they're really kind of neat. So somebody asked, or Donnie was talking about wanting multiple comments, So what these buttons let you do is, let's say I'm in a commercial building and there's 3 water heaters in this unit. I can just go click, click, click. Now I got 3 water heaters, you know. Someone was asking about this for their Trek template, and I think for Trek, that's a whole other conversation, but this would be powerful. So now I could go under observations and I have a pre-made list of defects. It looks like I don't have any periods in there, which is bad on my part. But anyway, you could add a few repair comments, and then you could add a recommendation that it should be serviced, right? And then we could call this.
But now, does that put anything in a summary?
Yeah, this will go to the summary. But what I can also do now, thanks to Tim, we'll see if this works, but water heaters. So this is not, you guys don't have this yet. This is just kind of for us at the moment. And this will end up changing.
I couldn't get to the unmute fast enough to ask when we're getting it, but you answered already.
So now I'm in a table and I can say this is an electric tank.
Oh, wow.
It's natural gas. It's an A.O. Smith. It's 40 gallons and it's from 2007. And it is old. And then hit close. So now what is cool is this table, even though I'm in unit whatever, and I've got all these different units, it will populate a similar table full of water heaters. So let's now go, for example, to under common systems in my template, we'll go to common utilities and water heating. And let's add a new water heater here. And we'll do the same thing. We found a few problems, replacements needed. So we'll call this a repair. And we'll go under this and we'll do another water heater. So it's this one's natural draft. It's propane. It's American. It's 120 gallons. It's from 1990. Past expected design life. So now we've got a repair in a totally separate place. If we preview, here's what it looks in the summary page, and I think we're going to be changing that a little bit. But then, oh, looks like it's not displaying anymore. But anyway, they'll create. It was working the other day, but we've been fiddling with all this. So the idea is it'll be populating a common table here within Scribeware. So I really think with tables, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if this becomes a better workflow in residential, honestly, is to just sort of fill out your styles and materials all within the observation comment and have your repairs and recommendations. And even for residential, you could be auto-generating a nice little list of like, here's your water heater, here's, how old your roof is, here's your all the I call them in my book the confident house hunter. Little plug for my book. uh, I I I have what I call disposable systems, right? And so that's like the roof, the water heater, the electric panel, the HVAC equipment, the decks, I mean, arguably kitchens and bathrooms, interior finishes. They're all things that if you go to a 20-year-old house, they're all shot, right? You need to update, maybe not the electric panel, but a lot of that stuff. So anyway, you could create a sort of disposable systems table in your residential inspections and have it be kind of auto-generating this table. So I think table functionality is going to be pretty phenomenal, and Tim's doing some great work on it. We're getting closer.
Good. I've kind of got my air conditioning already set up where you can get to gather an information just by clicking the next button on the button system.
Yeah, and that's really pretty powerful, but the problem then is it doesn't export to a common table. I mean, that's how I built it
Well, I
originally.
put a tag on mine, but like I said, the table will be so much better.
Yeah, the table's going to be awesome.
I agree.
Yep. So anyway, does that make sense on we kind of got sidetracked, but the original question was the show next to connected field value. Louis, I think it was you that asked it. Does that make sense? Cool. Awesome. Good. It was a great question. So, guys, I'm kind of losing my voice now. I think I think I should go and go back to bed. Um, But it was awesome seeing everybody, and we appreciate your support. And we're going to keep working on everything. And let us know if you get stuck, and we can help with anything. And we have exciting stuff coming out with tables. We're going to be at conferences. We're going to have a group at the ASHI conference. We're going to have a group at the IGO conference. So I'm going to be at the IEB conference. So let your friends know. If you have questions, reach out to me or Tim. God, we've got a new guy, Chris, around who's been helping with onboarding, which is really exciting. So good stuff's happening. We appreciate all of your support, and tell your friends about us.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Sounds great. Hope you get to feeling better.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
See you
Have a
next
great
week.
night.
Thanks.
Night.